Mic check, check. Justin Hunt, it's all happening. Joining us now, Director of Marketing from Two Lost Distribution, host, one-third of the host of the upcoming show, Game From The Gauds, Damien Ritter. 9-second applause.
Oh, no, yo. That's great. I even said, I needed a therapy.
Word up, brother. How are you doing? Thanks for joining me.
I'm doing pretty good, man. It's always a pleasure catching up with you.
Yeah, likewise, man. So you got some big things happening over there at Two Lost.
Yeah, no, we're moving, we're growing. Things are exciting, and I've been here for about a year and a half now. So much has changed in that year and a half. So I'm excited. I know the music industry is getting shaken up right now. So it's unfortunate to kind of see people lose their jobs and things at the major labels. But, you know, fortunately, we're not in that position, and we've all been growing. So the next year should look pretty good for us. So I'm excited.
Two Lost Distribution. Now, you guys have 100,000 artists that use your services. Is that right? Did I read that right?
Over 300,000 at this point.
Wow.
Yeah, we've grown pretty fast. So yeah, and hopefully a lot of the artists that have recently gotten let go, you know, obviously they need to find a home somewhere. So if you're listening to this, you know, hopefully you reach out to us and maybe Two Lost makes sense. So
yeah. Now you are a director of marketing, and you know, just from personal experience, I think you're fantastic at that. Even with what you were doing with, you know, previous situations that you were champion of. Everything you did with Funk Volume, of course, I think still rings loudly across the music industry. How would you describe your day-to-day in terms of director of marketing for Two Lost, and what are your focus when it comes to bringing attention to the company?
yeah, so, you know, over the last year, I kind of just dipped into the experience and into my experience and just kind of knowing the right people to connect with. So we were doing a lot of partnering with different platforms like No Labels Necessary, R.A. Hurstan, the Music Entrepreneur Club. You know, I being in this space for so long, I kind of know the voices that are impactful from like a music business education standpoint. So a lot of the work has been partnering with those folks, the DigiLaw, 24/7 artists, and really authentically engaging with their community. So they see that it's not just like, oh, we gave them some money, so they have to shout out to us, right? It's like, how can we partner in a way that's authentic, that adds value to both communities? That's been a lot of what I've done in the past year. And then I manage the social media team. They do a really good job. We recently hired a marketing manager so that we can start getting more down in the details, into the data, exploring opportunities on the platform, how people are using the platform, how we need to educate people on all of the different features on the platform, because Two Lost has a lot going on. And I definitely understand that sometimes it can be overwhelming for people that maybe don't have as much experience in the music industry, maybe just putting out their first song, because we cater to people that are on one, you know, if you're looking at it from 1 to 10, we cater to people that, you know, are maybe putting out their first song, but then we have resources that can support artists that probably in the 7 to 8 range, you know, that have a lot of money coming in, have a good team, are more experienced. So we have resources that fit, you know, all levels of artists. And I think from a marketing perspective, we have to do a better job at just kind of speaking to each of those buckets of artists so that, you know, some of them aren't lost on the platform, and that those novice artists can kind of grow with the platform to hopefully eventually be some of those 6, 7, and 8s, you know, that are doing well and make music for a living. So that's the goal.
Who are some of the more familiar names on your current roster?
More familiar names. I mean, there's so many artists that are doing well on the platform. But, you know, these days, music is so fragmented. I can show you an artist that has 7 million monthly listeners, and you could be like, who the hell is that? You know what I mean? So I know that we do a lot of work with a young lady named Maisha Erotica, who's doing really well on the platform. Who else? Anise is on the platform. Pink Sweats came over. Eric Bellinger came over. It's tough because, you know, we're still distribution, and, you know, these artists aren't necessarily like Two Lost artists. They just use our platform, you know, because they're not signed to us. We don't know their masters. We don't work with them day to day and things like that. But we do, like I said, we do offer a lot of, you know, features on the platform that are self-service. And then these bigger artists kind of have a day-to-day contact, and they're talking with our team to roll out. songs and things like that. But there's a cat in the nerdcore space named CG5 that crushes it.
Okay.
I mean, he does millions and millions of streams every single month. Lil Mabu was here. I think he signed a deal and signed a major label deal more recently. But yeah, there's a lot of folks that they come, shoot, 300,000 plus. So
Right.
it's a lot of folks. But my day to day is actually not with the artist. My director, he's more so kind of marketing the brand and making sure more people are aware of Tula. So I don't know I know the artists that I'm bringing over that I kind of stay out on. Like Ali Joseph is a good friend of mine. I always take the time to shout him out because I think he's going to be big at some point. I mean, he's already doing well. He does like 700,000 monthly listeners. But yeah, man, good times.
So I saw an interesting headline over here in Music Business Worldwide. It says DIY distributor Tulos to host Game From The Gauds music industry conference series in 4 U.S. cities. It's hosted by yourself, the legendary Ray Daniels, and DJ Nyla Simone. Can you tell us about Game From The Gauds? What is this? And it's spelled Gauds, by the way, which is dope.
Yeah, so this came, we partnered with Ray. So Ray is one of our partners. We sponsor his artist spotlight podcast of the God Show. So that's where it came from. So the God Show is Ray's entity. We were trying to come up with an idea for how we can do a live event together. The name Game From The Gauds just sounded dope. And Gods, like you said, is spelled Gauds. It stands for goats and underdogs. And we talked about that recently. He had kind of a different take on it, but the way I always received the name, I thought it was dope because, I feel like, we're great at some things. We're not as great at other things. So for some things, we're goats. We have a lot of experience. And for some things, we're just kind of underdogs, kind of figuring it out. Kind of like that balance where the humility comes in. That's how I always received it. He had a slightly different way of explaining it, but he said that kind of still fits too. So I like the name, because in this business, man, you got to grind it out, especially independently. You got to build on small wins, like I always say, and you really are an underdog. You got to be scrappy. You got to learn. So yeah, Game From The Gauds is a live event, but it's different than any other conferences that you've been to in the sense that people coming should come ready to participate. So there'll be like live interactive sessions. It won't just be me, Ray, and Nyla like telling you what to do. We don't have all the answers, right? But at this event, we're going to be doing some things live on the spot that hopefully collectively as a room, we can come up with some answers that make sense for the people in the room. So for example, we'll do a session called Rollout where we'll identify somebody that's has some music coming out in the very near future, and we'll come up with a rollout strategy on the spot. I'll probably run the session one time through, and then Ray will run the session with another artist like back to back, and then the crowd will kind of pick who has the better rollout strategy between the artist that I asked to participate and kind of his team. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We're giving away prizes. We got Mac's gear on board. They've donated a bunch of equipment for us to be able to give away. Nyla's going to be there chiming in. They're playing music throughout. So yeah, it's just going to be a lot of fun. So come ready to participate. I mean, you can come and just be a fly on the wall if that's what you choose to do. But if you want to be successful in the music industry, man, you have to be proactive. You have to network. So hopefully people come ready to participate. So I'm excited.
I like your quote in here. We created Game From The Gauds because we believe the traditional conference format wasn't engaging enough for today's artists. Our vision is to transform how artists learn by immersing them in a creative, gamified environment that not only educates, but also inspires them to level up their careers.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and also like outside of, I love the work that the Digilog does because they have a live event that caters to artists and makes it affordable for artists to come and learn. A lot of these other conferences aren't really geared toward artists because the price point is so high, right? The price point might be $1,000, $800, to go to South by Southwest and go to the panels, and even if the panels are good and forward thinking, I didn't see too many artists in the conference room when I went to South by Southwest. When we would go every year for Funk Volume, like I would go to all these panels and just kind of watch and learn. I'd look around, and there would be no artists really in the room. So I don't know if it's a combination of like not recognizing that it's important to be in the room, but maybe also just the price point is tough. So we made this experience affordable. In my opinion, it's $45. And if you hit me up directly, I'll probably give you a discount code. So DM me if you want a discount code and you want to come out. We had to push back the Philadelphia show, so we're no longer doing Philly, but we're still doing DC, Atlanta, and New York. So if you're in any of those cities and you DM me, I'll shoot you a discount code. And yeah, it's be a lot of fun.
So you've got Philly has been rescheduled. So you still have Washington, D.C. on October 11th, Atlanta, October 12th, New York, October 14th.
Yes, sir.
Do you plan on hitting any other cities after those initial 4?
Yeah, this is just the start. We're hoping that this is just kind of a proof of concept. I think that, just running the event, we have to get comfortable and figure out what works, what doesn't work, but we definitely want to roll this out to other cities. So, definitely plan for or expect for us to announce more cities, maybe top of the year. Because I think it's important to hit cities that don't traditionally get like music events. So somebody hit me from my guy John Woo in Louisville told me that we should probably go to Louisville. So that would be pretty dope. I don't even know if I've been there, but he said that there's a lot of artists. There's a lot of artists everywhere.
Right.
So to go to cities where there's not really a like music industry presence and chop it up with that community, I think it'll be fun for me and hopefully useful for the local community.
I feel like that strategy worked well for Funk Volume, if I'm wrong. I feel like you guys were touring a lot of places that weren't necessarily on the music industry map at that time.
Yeah, I think that's, there's a lot of cities that people fly over. So if you go to cities that don't even get, live events, I think as an artist, you can get a lot of fans that way because they don't really have too many entertainment options. In LA, we're spoiled because we have so many things that we can do. Got all the sports teams, we got theater here, we got comedy, we got so much stuff that we can go to. Some of these smaller cities don't have that many options. So you can really find some hardcore fans that will be fans forever, in some of these cities that other bigger artists kind of fly by. So yeah, definitely part of the Funk Volume strategy for sure.
We've been looking at a time of crazy upheaval in the music industry. On the major label side, you have all kinds of stories every day about, entire divisions and teams that are being laid off, artists being dropped. What does it look like from your perspective? And does it feel like you know me, I'm in the hip hop space. Does it feel like hip hop is being de-emphasized now?
It definitely feels that way. From an independent, like if I was still working with independent artists, like, I never really cared like what's going on like a macro level. I paid attention to it just in case it trickled down to affect what we were doing. But the focus was always like our community. Like if we can build these strong bonds with fans, I only care about growing that number. Whatever's happening up here, layoffs, that don't really affect us. We're locked in. We're locked in the music that we're putting out. And the relationships that we're building with our fans. So a lot of the macro music industry stuff never really affected us. So if I was an independent artist, I don't really care what's going on. I got a goal and I know what I got to do today to build my community, monetize my fan base. But here at Two Laws, I think it sucks, obviously, if you lost your job. Like that's not ideal. And I feel for those people. But again, I think we only benefit given the position that we're in because, we're an independent distributor. So I think we're going to catch a lot of the artists that fall out of the system or get dropped. And I think a lot of the music execs, we're in the process of building out a white label distribution option. I think a lot of the music execs that still have a passion for this and want to build something, they might be able to work with us and kind of build out their own distribution or their own label and just kind of use our pipes, use our infrastructure. So I look forward to building with a lot of people that still have the passion and the drive and the know-how, to build something special out because we can use our platform as that infrastructure. So
For independent artists who might be interested in getting distribution with Two Lost or any distributor, truthfully, what kind of splits could they expect? Like, what does a distribution contract actually look like?
Oh, we're 100% pass through. You can use the platform. Anybody can come use the platform, because it's similar to like, any other distributor out there. But we do, like, once you start getting traction, or if you're an artist that already has traction, we do give advances as well. And some artists have come to us for small advances, $5,000, $10,000, but then artists have come to us for deals in the millions. And that's what I really love about Two Lots. I feel like we're in a position to cater to. If you're looking at it from 1 to 10, again, I would say 1 to 7.5, 8, and that's like 99% of artists. Like, there's not that many artists that go 9 or 10. That's when you start talking about like your Drakes and your Biebers and things like that. So I feel like we can cater to most artists. So, but when we do a deal, we're really just analyzing, your current revenue streams, your current streaming numbers, and you can kind of fix the deal however you want. It could be a 1-year license, it could be a 3-year license, it could be a 10-year license. And obviously, the longer the license, the more upfront money, or the bigger the percentage, the more upfront money. So you can license half your catalog. You can pretty much tailor it however you want to get the money that you need up front to continue to invest in your career. So there's a lot of flexibility here. And with the artists that we do have in deals, they're given priority in terms of working with our labor services team. So, because obviously we're incentivized now we're in business with them. Now we need to help them, market the music, things like that. So we used to be able to service more artists with our team, but it's grown so fast that we had to prioritize more, artists that are in deals or artists that have a lot of traction. But I think the platform in and of itself, even if you just use it self-service, there's a lot of features and tools on the platform that I think can help an independent artist grow. But if you're in that 2 to 3 range, hopefully you start scaling up and get it into the 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Right. Now, you've also been on the film comedy side of entertainment as manager of Big Ja.
Yes, sir.
Shout out to Big Ja. The Lesbian Homie 2 out now on Tubi. Is it on Tubi? 3.
2 and 3. But 3 just came out. But Lesbian Homie 2 and 3 is on Tubi.
Yeah. So, that's, to me, there is a big shift between music and film, comedy, television, right? How would you describe the difference between those two spaces, going from funk volume and the music side of things, and then work with Big Ja and all the things you've been able to accomplish so far?
Yeah, I'm learning. Well, let me start with the similarities, because it's still about building community, right? Like, a fan of Ja to me is no different than a fan of something. And finding these fans, interacting, engaging with these fans, and monetizing our fan base so that we can have a career in this. I mean, a lot of it is the same. The difference, I would say, between music and TV, from what I've experienced thus far, because I'm more of a novice in the television and film world, because we really haven't like breaking in it. I'm still learning, and we're still positioning ourselves for like another jump. But the biggest difference I see between music and television and film is like, in music, I could put my music on Spotify, Apple Music. Even if this is my first song, that's where Beyonce puts her music. That's where Drake puts his music. Everybody's in the same store, right? For television and film, like, we still want to be on Netflix and Stars. There's no Spotify equivalent where everybody puts their music that everybody has access to. So we need to figure out how to position ourselves.
Well, YouTube, right? YouTube would be that space.
Yeah, YouTube and then Tubi. But again, I mean, that's not where like the biggest. That's not where Issa's not putting their stuff there yet. I mean, maybe YouTube. Well, YouTube is a powerful player, and that's how we've even gotten the traction to get to this point. But ultimately, Ja wants to do feature films. He wants to have his show on HBO, just like Issa did. He kind of wants to just follow in those footsteps. So that I think is the biggest difference, and just the cost to create like a quality show versus like a quality album, right? We probably spent $120,000 to create the Lesbian Homie. And I know some people spend that on their albums, but probably not independent artists. Independent artists probably aren't spending that much. So just the cost and the time to put together, a quality. So I don't really like to call it a web series, even though it's on the web. But if you look at the like, they're full on episodes. They could go on TV. They're 25 minutes plus each episode. So yeah, the cost and the time that goes into creating these episodes is much longer. It's a much bigger task. So I would say those are like the biggest differences that I've seen thus far.
What up? Damien Ritter, Director of Marketing at 2 Lost. You got Game of the Gods starting October 11th in Washington, D.C. Game from the Gods. I keep saying Game of the Gods. Maybe I'm thinking Game of Thrones. I don't know what I'm doing. You guys are good.
No, people keep messing. I'm not messing up. Like, people keep saying it differently. Maybe we should have, because some people say Game with the Gods. That could have been cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, just want to emphasize once again that it's like gods, GAUDS. We are trying to say that we are gods of the music industry, and we can tell you everything you need to know. This is like a learning experience for everybody in the room. Of course, we're going to contribute our experience because Ray's been in the game for so long, but a different path, right? Like, he's been in the major label infrastructure. He knows how to navigate that infrastructure. Been super successful. The artist, or the songwriter that he manages, just got he got the Grammy for Songwriter of the Year.
Wow.
So he really understands, kind of how to navigate the major label world. Nyla has a different experience. She's much younger. She's a DJ. She's on the Breakfast Club once a week. So she just has a different view and experience. And then obviously my experience is kind of building things from the ground up. So collectively, I think that we covered a lot of bases. But like I said, it's not just us. We're inviting other people, like other established people. We're expecting people that are everybody in the room needs to participate in these sessions to get what we hope you get out of the event. So come through.
Word up. Damien Ritter, thank you for joining us. 9-second applause.
I was worried about what I'm supposed to do. I'm not supposed to talk them or side up. So I'm not going to do the applause. You can give me a heads up. I can see.